Okay, I think we're going to get started because we have a full house. We have 2 stories to get through. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. My name is Naomi Williams. I'm co-director of Stories on Stage Davis, and this is our first event of 2019. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you. I just want to acknowledge that it's been a really pretty horrible and sad week here in Davis. A lot of us were actually at the vigil earlier before. I don't know if any of you were there too. Okay, but yeah, it was a great outpouring of sort of community unity and shared grief and all that. But anyway, before we get into the healing process of hearing stories, I just wanted to acknowledge that this was something that hit all of us here in the community really hard. Thank you all for being here. So I'm very excited about this evening, which has been a very long time in the making. Both of the writers that we're going to feature tonight, I know personally. They've both been friends of Stories on Stage Davis for a long time, and we had the stories in our possession for a long time too. They both submitted them to us a while ago. And when these stories came in, some of you know, maybe, from either having read my first book or having heard about it, that I'm really a fan of stories of mishaps at sea. And both of these stories are about people who go out to sea really, well, not against their better judgment, but against better judgment. And those are the best kinds of stories, right? People go out to sea, they shouldn't be there. It's a bad idea, and I mean, what is not to love about that? So today is our Mayhem at Sea night, and I'm very excited that we're all here. And isn't it wonderful to listen to such stories when we are pretty far inland, and nothing in that watery way can accost us here. So I hope you'll all sit back and enjoy. It is a little bit warm in here because we're all together. So you may be peeling off your scarves and sweaters and stuff. I'm down to my ninja T-shirt. Our first story is going to be Voyage of the Tropical Queen by Anne de Vigo, and you can read more about Anne in your program, which I understand we ran out of. Anne lives in Sacramento, and she has a long career as a journalist, and she has a book called Thread of Gold that we will be raffling one copy of at intermission, and is also for sale from the Avid Reader bookstore, whose booth table is set up in the other gallery. And you can do that during intermission. I'm sure she'd be happy to sign copies, right, Anne? Yeah, okay, yay. And she has an unpublished novel called Bakersfield Boys Club, which was a finalist for the Uno Press Literary Prize. And I'm just very excited that we can feature her story. I also want to say a few words about Will Oberholzer, who's going to be reading her piece. And it's kind of exciting, too. We have a piece written by a woman that's being read by a man, and a piece written by a man that's going to be read by a woman. So that's also kind of cool. I just wanted to point that out. Will is a veteran actor of the area and has appeared with numerous stage productions, which you can also read about in your program, including for Davis Shakespeare Festival. And he will not toot his own horn, so I'm going to tell you all that he is also, during the day, a very accomplished builder and master carpenter, and he's going to be building me a dream library later this year. I just moved to a new house, and I put out on Facebook, hey, does anybody know somebody who could build a bookshelf with a rolling ladder? And one of the actors with Davis Shakespeare Festival said, you should check out Will. So anyway, he's not going to tell you that, but he does beautiful, beautiful work. And if you need something like that in your life, you know who to talk to. It's the man who's going to be reading to you next. So before we hear the story, Voyage of the Tropical Queen, read by Will Oberholzer, I just want to ask Anne de Vigo to please come up here and just say a few words about her story, maybe where it came from or whatever you want. Thank you, Anne.